Hey, so what's up with Cowboy Bebop? There's this guy named Shinichiro Watanabe, right? Back in the 90s, he was just another guy in the industry trying to get his name out there. He was working at an animation studio called Sunrise in Japan, and he lent his hand to a few of the mecha projects they had cooking on the stove. But my man's was built for more than just helping around the office. Watanabe was built for something bigger. He was built different. He had a brainchild gestating in that incredible mind of his, and yes, it was definitely. There are two principal elements to take into account when talking about the history of Bebop. Watanabe wanted to make something episodic, and he wanted it to cater to a more mature crowd. He took heavy inspiration from the classic anime series Lupin III when conceptualizing the story, and bang, Spike Spiegel was born. From there, Bebop practically wrote itself. In the early development days, Bandai the toy company was the main sponsor behind the series. They were interested in the prospect of selling spaceship toys, and they advised Watanabe to put them in the show. However, like I was mentioning, this dude was trying to make an anime with a serious tone, and Bandai, which was at the time famous with the younger crowd, said, "Nah fam, that's not quite our tempo," and they backed out, leaving Bebop in production hell. It's unknown just how long Bebop spent floating into nothingness, but luckily they found another sponsor before it was too late. The sponsor that saved Bebop was none other than Bandai. Wow, this segment was pointless. But this time it was Bandai's animation department, Bandai Visual, and the key thing that came from this new funding was that Bandai was no longer interested in selling Bebop merchandise, so they gave Watanabe complete creative control over the series. From there, Bebop becomes the 26 sessions everyone knows it as. We follow the misadventures of the Bebop crew as they get into all kinds of different business across the solar system. Along the way, you learn more about the characters, and by the time it's over, you wish it wasn't. The legendary Cowboy Bebop made its Japanese television debut on April 3rd, 1998, and after 12 episodes, it got cancelled. Yes, ripped right off the air. It sounds crazy, but Bebop was deemed too adult for Japanese TV. To sum it up, TV Tokyo, which was the channel Bebop was airing on, had beef with another famous 90s anime called Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, I guess I can see why. But the beef they had tainted the anime waters, and they snap judged Bebop while it was still airing. It would eventually air in its entirety later that year on another channel, but the real wave that Bebop made wasn't even in Japan. Over the years, it would undoubtedly find its place as a popular series in its home country, but something happened in 2001 that changed the course of history for anime in the Western world. In 2001, Cowboy Bebop premiered on Cartoon Network's programming block Adult Swim. It made a strong impression with Western audiences as the perception of Japanese anime was very limited at the time. Here came a series on a major channel made for people looking for something other than Sailor Moon and Pokemon. With it came an English dub, which is incredible by the way, and a set of genres and themes that blended nicely into the Western mainstream. Cowboy Bebop was a hit. It would go on to become a staple in anime viewing, almost like a rite of passage for anime fans, and its unique style would define an era. Post-anime series, we got a Cowboy Bebop movie that came out in 2001, and oh yeah, can't forget about this part. In 2008, 20th Century Fox began developing a Cowboy Bebop live-action film with Keanu Reeves as Spike, and they were aiming for a 2011 release date, but due to what Watanabe called Hollywood problems, the project ultimately fell through. That was at least until 2017 when the live-action conversation lit back up. Sunrise and the American producer Marty Adelstein announced they had teamed up and were developing a live-action Bebop TV series. In November of 2018, Netflix announced they had picked up the series, and 5 months later, John Cho was confirmed to be playing Spike Spiegel. That brings us to today. The live-action release date is November 19th, 2021, and it seems that once again, Bebop has been thrusted into the global spotlight. But yeah, that's what's up with Bebop.